Coming up on NBA Now, we're going to take a look at the top 20 NBA trade candidates heading into the February 10th NBA trade deadline. But before we do that, I want to hear from you, the audience. Name your favorite NBA trade target going into February 10th and drop me some names in the comment section. Before we take a look at these top 20 NBA trade candidates heading into February 10th, some key dates to know as we move forward and progress in the 2021-2022 NBA regular season. NBA trade deadline, as I mentioned, set for February 10th. The NBA play-in tournament is April 12th to the 15th. Then the NBA playoffs start on June 2nd. That's why we're breaking down these trade candidates, because these key dates are coming right around the corner, and there are teams right on the bubble of playoff contention, or they realize, hey, as an organization, we have a realistic shot to make a run in the NBA playoffs. We need to bring in some marquee players. So we broke down these players in different tiers by positions, name, severity, and stuff like that. So we first take a look at some forwards and centers, all headlined by really notable players: Marvin Bagley III of the Sacramento Kings, Domantas Sabonis of the Indiana Pacers, Thaddeus Young of the San Antonio Spurs, Myles Turner of the Indiana Pacers as well, and John Collins of the Atlanta Hawks. All of these guys can help teams in a variety of ways. Now, Domantas Sabonis on that front has been involved in a bunch of trade discussions and trade rumors over the last several weeks. This is a player who has made it to back-to-back All-Star games, who can play the 4 or 5 spots, currently out with an ankle injury, but is expected to come back over the next couple of days. So he will be back with Indiana or another team around the NBA trade deadline to help that organization down the stretch run of the NBA playoffs. Another player who also is of note is Myles Turner of the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers are in a situation, folks, right now where they're looking at resetting and rebuilding that franchise. And if they want to bring some young pieces back, they're going to send away some of their veterans who really are key players and trade candidates for other teams in order to start that rebuilding process. Myles Turner, also out right now with a stress reaction injury in his foot, but he's one of the better two-way centers in the league. 13 points per game this year, 7 rebounds, back-to-back years in which he has averaged more than 2 blocks. Last year it was north of 3, which led the NBA, and he's shooting around 52% from the floor. John Collins is also a superb front court player whose development over the last couple of years has been very, very impressive. Now, he was rumored to be in trade discussions. Not as much now, because the Atlanta Hawks are one of the hottest teams in the NBA, led by a soaring Trae Young. They've won 5 games in a row. Collins has been a big part of that. 17.5 points per game, 8 rebounds. He's really good on both ends. If he were to get traded, he'd be one of the biggest names on the NBA trade market. So given that the Hawks are hot right now, do you think Atlanta should trade John Collins? You let me know in the comment section. Type T for trade, type K for keep. Get your votes in and let me know. Got to give a shout out to today's presenting sponsor, Fetch Rewards. And the Fetch Rewards app has been life-changing for me, and it's been a game changer for me. Why is that? I make purchases from all types of stores. Large retail stores. I also really like supporting local businesses, and I get all of my receipts back from my purchases. And with the Fetch Rewards app, I'm able to pull out my phone, like this example to my right is showing you, scan my receipts, and when I scan those receipts, I'm able to get bonus points back, and over time, those bonus points accumulate, and you're able to get free gift cards in the process to places like Amazon, Target, Walmart, Fanatics. If you want your morning coffee paid for, you can get gift cards from a place like Starbucks. Free download and 3,000 bonus points if you download the app right now using that link down below, chatsports.com/fetch, and enter the promo code CHAT. Game changer. You take a picture of your receipt, you get bonus points back. Those bonus points then lead to you getting free gift cards. I'm going to put that link in the comment section as well as the description of this video. Here at Chat Sports, we're pushing out the latest NBA news and rumors, NFL news and rumors. We become the home for the best college football coverage. We appreciate all of our sponsors, including Fetch Rewards, and we'd appreciate it if you support us by downloading the Fetch Rewards app. Guards and wings now. We'll start to run through some of these players a little bit quicker. Goran Dragic of the Toronto Raptors. He's been asking for a trade for a really long time. Terrence Ross is a very good player who with the title team can come in off the bench and go on a heater. Talen Horton-Tucker, one of the lone young players on the Los Angeles Lakers roster. Under contract for an affordable deal, 3 years, around $30 million, just has really struggled this year playing alongside LeBron James. Gary Trent Jr. was traded last year in that deal for Norman Powell. Very, very good guard, and this year he's having a career year. 15 points per game. He's shooting a little less than 41% from the deck, which isn't the most efficient clip, but how about 39% from distance? And from the free throw line, he's been very good as well, shooting it at about a 78% rate. This is a young player who just signed a contract. He's going to be under that contract for the next couple of years. So for a team vying for his services, you have him available, and he continues to improve as he's been in the lab over the last few years. Who is the better young player between THT and Gary Trent Jr.? Your opportunity to be as much a part of the show as I am as the host. Type THT for Talen Horton-Tucker, GTJ for Gary Trent Jr. Get your votes in once more. More guards and wings, because guards and wings nowadays in the NBA, they dominate the conversation. And without them, in my opinion, you don't compete for NBA championships. A lot of good ones potentially who are going to get dealt. Karis LeVert, of course, of the Indiana Pacers. Buddy Hield, Sacramento Kings. Eric Gordon of the Houston Rockets. Dennis Schroeder, $5.9 million, averaging around 16, 17 points per game for Boston. He's been excellent. And then Marcus Smart signed that really big contract extension this offseason. Very good defensive player, in my opinion, way too spotty offensively, but as a bulldog and a culture changer, he could push the team over the edge, making it into the playoffs or making a deep run. Since coming into the league out of Oklahoma, Buddy Hield has been one of the best three-point marksmen in the NBA. Right up there efficiency-wise with guys like Steph Curry as well as Klay Thompson. Now, if you look at his field goal percentage with a lot of volume, you're like, 40.5%, that ain't great. But so many teams, of course, given the modern-day style, value three-point shooters who can let it fly, stretch the floor, because that's the way that the game has been moving in recent years. That's where it's going to continue to stay. And Buddy Hield's one of the best at doing that, just chucking it up from deep. So too is Eric Gordon, who's older than Buddy Hield, more affordable than Buddy Hield, and is having a career year up to this point, even though he's playing alongside a bunch of young players. 14.5 points per game this year for EG, 50% shooting from the deck. And how about Eric Gordon, shooting almost 45% from three-point range with a lot of volume and shot attempts? That's really, really notable, because if a playoff team brings him in, he can be a true difference maker. So you have two players who are good at shooting the three rock, who are on different sides of the age discussion. Buddy Hield younger, more expensive. Eric Gordon older, less expensive. Who do you like better? Who's the better shooter? BH for Buddy Hield, EG for Eric Gordon. Hey, I'm going to go right now with Buddy Hield, but this conversation is a lot closer for those of you who like Eric Gordon. 45% from deep. Very, very impressive. Now, here at Chat Sports, we've been able to grow like crazy. A big reason for that, we're all about the audience interaction, the audience engagement. We're faster than anybody else. We're more unique with our coverage, and we push out coverage that is very informative, educational. And here under the Chat Sports umbrella, we have a bunch of NBA channels. So, of course, you're going to be a fan of one of these teams most likely. And if you just want to stay up to date with the latest NBA news and rumors, you can subscribe to Chat Sports. But we have a multitude of channels. Celtics Today, Knicks Now, 76ers Now, Golden State Warriors Today, Lakers Report, Dallas Mavericks Today. As you can see, the subscriber numbers fluctuate for all of these channels. The mainstay, Chat Sports, approaching 280,000 subscribers. Make sure you subscribe to these channels if you love the NBA. Producer Trace has been filtering throughout those links at the bottom of your screen. I'm also going to do all of you a favor. I'm going to put all of those subscribe links in the description of this video. So if you love the NBA, you like our coverage, and you just like looking at my face, I'm on a lot of these videos. Subscribe to our NBA channels right now. Few more players to get to. Big name guards. I like CJ McCollum. I think if he went to a playoff contending team or a team vying for a championship, he could be excellent. Now, the long sample size alongside Damian Lillard hasn't resulted in a lot of long-standing playoff success. Only one conference finals trip going back to 2019 with that tandem. But he's better than Russell Westbrook. He's better than John Wall. He's younger than those two players. And Russ, way too reckless in my opinion, and doesn't have a great feel for the game, has never been able to adapt and evolve with the ever-changing game that the NBA is. I'd honestly think, if I'm the Lakers, about trading Russell Westbrook for John Wall, because I think John Wall is a little bit better at this stage of his career. And then some blockbuster trade targets. Really big names here. Ben Simmons, Daryl Morey saying of late, not going to trade him potentially until the offseason because we want to deal him for a player the likes of James Harden. We'll see what happens with that. But if he gets dealt, he's, in my opinion, the best defender in the NBA, and I know his value is lower because of that second-round playoff flameout. Still a very good player who is highly, highly skilled, under contract, and only 25 years old. Jerami Grant, another really intriguing trade candidate, going to be one of the bigger names to follow and monitor going into February 10th, and I think he has the most likelihood of him getting dealt. And then Bradley Beal, frustrated of late with the situation in Washington. They were up 50 points the other night to the Clippers. They end up somehow losing that game. I think it was the largest comeback in the history of the NBA. Wizards started the year very, very strong, but now they've really, really tailed off. And it's been a down year for the Wizards, as we continue to talk about year in, year out. It's been a down year for Beal as well. Last year, second in the NBA scoring title, more than 31 points per game. He shot around 49% from the floor, 35% from beyond the arc, 89% from the free throw stripe. But as you can see, the numbers have gone down this year. 24 points per game almost. Only shooting around 46% from the floor. Not a big dip there. Three-point percentage isn't what it was last year, and then the free throw percentage is what it is. He's always going to be a good shooter. He's always going to be a threat to put the biscuit in the basket. He is a walking bucket and a threat to score as soon as he crosses half court. This year, though, his number's a little bit down. Other names to watch before we hop on out of here on today's show: Christian Wood, Tyrese Halliburton, De'Aaron Fox, Damian Lillard. Other names who could get dealt, but I think of these players, Christian Wood may be the most likely to get traded. The Kings, you never know what they're going to do. I mean, that's why they haven't made it to the playoffs since the early 2000s. They say they want to hold on to Halliburton and De'Aaron Fox. I think it'd be wise for them to do so. I think they can make it work alongside Davion Mitchell out of Baylor, who I really like. Damian Lillard, because of that abdominal injury, probably not going to get traded, but you always got to throw Dame time in when you're talking about NBA trades because the Blazers continue to not reach expectations. Let me know. Name your favorite NBA trade target heading into February 10th. Going to be a lot of movement in the days and weeks leading up to then, and you know we have you covered here at Chat Sports.